Manchester City misses the top 4. A newly promoted club finishes above them, and one Premier League giant sells their star player mid-season out of pure panic. Read those 3 sentences again. Feels wrong, right? Like something's broken. Good, because that's exactly what's coming this season, and I've got 10 predictions to prove it. The Premier League loves humiliating people who think they've got it figured out. Every single year, the experts get it wrong, and every single time, fans act shocked, like this hasn't happened before, over and over, on repeat. Not this time. 10 predictions. Ranked from bold to almost illegal. Number 6 is going to start arguments in every group chat it touches. And number 1 breaks a pattern that's held for almost a decade. Stay with me, because by the end of this you're going to see this season completely differently. Prediction 1, the Big 6 isn't 6 anymore. Let's start simple. For years, everyone talked about the Big 6. 6 clubs, all the money, all the trophies, everyone else just fighting for scraps. In theory, that club still exists. In practice, it's shrinking. Here's the prediction. By the end of this season, at least one of those 6 clubs finishes outside the top 8. Not top 4. Top 8. This sounds dramatic. It isn't, really, once you look at the spending gap closing between mid-table clubs and the so-called giants. Clubs like Brighton and Newcastle aren't cute underdog stories anymore. They're building squads like businesses, and businesses that plan well tend to win. You know the type of club that used to just show up and hope. That club doesn't exist in the Premier League anymore. Everyone's playing chess now. Prediction 2, a newly promoted team doesn't just survive. They thrive. Every year, people write off the newly promoted teams before a ball is even kicked. They'll be back down next season. That's the go-to line. Here's where it gets interesting. This season, one promoted club finishes in the top half of the table. Not just survives, thrives. Why? Because promotion parachute payments and smarter recruitment mean these clubs aren't showing up broke and desperate anymore. They're showing up prepared, with data departments and specific tactical identities. It's kind of like showing up to a job interview with a full presentation while everyone else brings a resume printed 5 minutes ago. Prediction 3, a manager gets fired before October. This one's less if and more who. Premier League ownership groups have basically zero patience left. A few bad results, a couple of ugly defeats, and the pressure builds fast. In theory, clubs are supposed to trust a project. Give a manager time. Build something. In practice, one manager is gone before the leaves even start changing color. This isn't a guess based on vibes either. Look at how quickly ownership groups panic now compared to 5 years ago. Patience is basically extinct in this league. Prediction 4, a golden boot surprise. Everybody assumes the same 3 or 4 names fight for top scorer every year. Makes sense. They're brilliant. But here's the twist. This season, someone outside that usual group finishes as a genuine golden boot contender. Not just a good season, a shocking one. Here's why that's not as crazy as it sounds. Tactical systems have changed. More teams are playing with wingers cutting inside, false nines, overlapping fullbacks who somehow end up scoring more than actual strikers. This sounds simple. It isn't. Scoring goals used to be about being the guy standing in the box. Now it's about being in the right system at the right time. Put the right player in the right role, and suddenly a guy nobody talks about is topping charts in January. Prediction 5, a transfer window bust becomes the story of the season. Every summer, a club spends big money on a player who's supposed to change everything. And every year, at least one of those signings completely flops. Here's the twist though. This year, it's not just a flop. It becomes the storyline of the entire season. Constant headlines, constant debate, the kind of transfer saga where pundits argue about it every single week on TV. In theory, spending more money should guarantee better results. In practice, football doesn't care about theory, confidence, and chemistry. All of that matters more than a transfer fee. You can buy talent. You can't always buy belief. Prediction 6, a relegation battle comes down to the final day with a twist. Relegation battles are basically guaranteed drama every year. That part's easy to predict. Here's the twist. This year, it's not the usual suspects fighting to survive. A club that finished comfortably mid-table last season is suddenly in the relegation fight on the final day. Why? A slow start. 1 or 2 injuries to key players. Suddenly confidence disappears, and once confidence goes in football, it's incredibly hard to get back. It's kind of like a video game character losing their power-up. Same team, same players, completely different energy. Prediction 7, VAR controversy actually decides the title race. Everyone complains about VAR. Every fan, every pundit, every manager post-game interview. Here's the shocking part. This season, a genuinely title-deciding call comes down to a VAR decision that the entire football world argues about for weeks. In theory, VAR was supposed to remove controversy from the game. In practice, it just moved the controversy to a screen. This isn't really a bold prediction if you think about it. It's basically happened in some form every season already. This year, it just happens at the worst possible moment for the biggest possible stakes. Prediction 8, a genuine underdog finishes in the top 4. Save the boldest one for last. This season, a club that nobody currently expects to be anywhere near the Champions League spots finishes in the top 4. Not top 6. Top 4. Here's why this isn't as insane as it sounds. Football rewards momentum, and momentum snowballs. Win a few big games early, build belief, and suddenly a squad that looked like a solid top-half team starts playing like they belong at the very top. We've seen it before. Leicester wasn't supposed to happen either. And it did. Prediction 9. A cup upset sparks genuine panic at a big club. Everyone treats domestic cup games like a joke early on. Rotate the squad, rest the stars, who cares? Here's the prediction. A lower league club knocks a top-half Premier League team out early, and it's not treated as cute. It's treated as a crisis. Why? Because fans and pundits use cup exits as proof that something bigger is wrong. One bad 90 minutes against a part-time team, and suddenly the manager's entire philosophy gets questioned on live TV. It's not really about the cup. It's about the excuse everyone's been waiting for to panic. Prediction 10. The final day ends in total chaos. Save the messiest one for last. This season, the final day doesn't just decide one thing. It decides 3. Top 4. Relegation. And a European spot, all coming down to goal difference on the exact same afternoon. In theory, the league is supposed to sort itself out over 38 games. In practice, it never does. It just delays the chaos until the very last Sunday, when 4 different fan bases are refreshing their phones at the same time, watching other games they have zero control over. This isn't rare anymore. It's basically tradition at this point. This year, it just gets messier than usual. 10 predictions. Remember those 3 sentences from the start? Missed top 4. A promoted club climbing past them. A panic sale mid-season. By the time this season ends, at least one of those already looks less crazy than it did right now. Ending. So here's the truth. Every single season in the Premier League, something happens that nobody saw coming. That's not luck. That's just what this league does now. The teams with money don't always win. The favorites don't always survive. And the story everyone expects almost never turns out to be the story you actually get. So here's a question for you. Out of these 10 predictions, which one do you think actually happens first? Drop your pick in the comments, and if you want more breakdowns like this before the headlines catch up, go ahead and subscribe. You'll want to see how many of these actually come true.